My name is Carlos Martinez, and I was in the U.S. Army, first of the 184th Infantry, from 1998 to 2004, right out of high school.
Was it wartime?
Yes, in the Iraq War.
My name is Dale Trujillo. I served in the United States Navy. I served from 1968 to 1970, Vietnam.
My name is Juan Smith. I served in the United States Air Force, 2002 to 2006.
My name is Mark Villagran Jr. My branch is the United States Navy. Total, I served 5 years. I went in September of '95, pretty much right after the summer after I graduated high school, and I was discharged January of 2001, 9 months before 9/11 happened.
My name is Oscar Jimenez, and I served in the United States Marine Corps. I ended up serving in the Marine Corps from 2003 to 2007, October.
Well, the hardest part for me, to be honest, was it really wasn't anything that happened there. It was basically leaving home.
And it just blew up. And the fuel came in so fast, it was like over my waist. And I knew that I had to put the seal back on that cap. The fuel was just coming out, JP5. So what I did, I just swam through it. I swam in there, and I had to open up my eyes, and I put that seal back on there. And I struggled upstairs to get out. And I just collapsed right on the floor. And 2 medics grabbed me, one on each arm, and they threw me backwards. And they got these big, large bottles, and they flushed my eyes out. Then they put these bandages on my eyes. And they put me down on the bed, and they says, "Dale, when we take these bandages off, you could be blind for life." And I'm laying there at 19 years old thinking I might be blind for life.
One morning, it must have been like 3 or 4 in the morning, I was awakened by a collision alarm. At that moment, you think, well, that's it. It could be a missile, it could be a torpedo, it could be a mine. This water could come flooding in this compartment in a minute, and I might not survive. And that was it. That was the beginning of where all that adrenaline, all that fear, all that needed to come out of me. They said, man up the weapons.
The hardest thing for me was actually going to a war zone with people that I knew and coming back without them. And I think that changes somebody forever once you actually go through something like that.
I think when I turned 18, or whenever I was stopped being forced to go, I was more. I believed in God, and I always had that belief, but I don't think I ever leaned on Him, or I ever really even prayed to Him. I just knew that there was a God, and I believed in Him. So, I must have had people praying for me, because I made it back.
And when I was in my darkness, being blind, I couldn't cry out to God because I didn't believe He really existed. My sister died of a brain tumor when I was 12 years old, and it devastated me. I was in so much confusion, and I just simply shook my fist at God. Really, I want nothing to do with Jesus. When my mother would talk about Him, say, "Oh, with all due respect, Mom, I don't want nothing to do with this Jesus person. Look what happened to my sister." Okay? So when I was blind, I couldn't cry out to Him. I couldn't cry out to a God that I really didn't believe in. I was angry against. I had this bitterness in me against Him. So that's basically how I felt.
So during those moments, I did pray. I did call out to God. I did, Lord, help me, or something. Even if it was, small, and, it was something that I think I reflected upon my life being in somebody else's hands, bigger than my own, and praying and hoping that I would see the other side of that.
And when I was over there, I remember even when I was getting mortared at once, when we were in Rutba, I remember how during those seconds when you were hearing the mortars falling and you didn't know if they were calling your name, I was actually praying to God, you know, asking Him, forgive me for my sins. I didn't know any better back then. All I knew was, Lord, I'm sorry, you know, if I did something wrong, and if this happens to be my day, forgive me. But once I got back, everything ended up changing, and you know, God actually, He opened my eyes, and He brought me more towards Him, and He allowed me to see what He wanted me to see. But faith plays a really big role. And I think for a soldier, for a Marine, for a sailor, for an airman, whoever it is that's serving in the military, faith is something that will contribute to their success, will contribute to their person, will contribute to, yes, their spirit, wherever they're at, because it's something that it's just that extra boost that your spirit needs, just itself, just to get you by your days, to get you by those lonely nights, to get you by when you're sleeping in places you don't even know where you're staying at. Because the world is this big old globe, and sometimes you're on the other side and your family's over here, and somehow God connects that if you're actually able to actually put Him in between you guys, and it helps a lot. It really helps a lot.
Memorial Day means to me is basically, I mean, it's for whoever died in combat or in the military, really. I mean, and to honor them. You know, I'm alive. I'm here, so. You know, I don't think of it as a day for me. I think of it as a day as for the ones that didn't make it home, that sacrificed, you know, themselves for our freedom that we have here in America. And it's basically, to me, it's to honor them, to honor the ones that didn't make it home.
It's a pretty grim story. It gets pretty dark, but all it takes is seeing so many of your fellow service members, just lighting them up. And that's all it takes. You never see Memorial Day or Veterans Day, anything like that. You never see it again the same way.
Me, to Dale Trujillo, I feel kind of sad as a Vietnam vet, because we're basically in our own group. The Vietnam vets, we stand alone. We stand alone when we came back. And but I'm here because there was a King of Kings and Lord of Lords that came to my apartment in San Leandro and saved me from killing myself. Excuse me.
It's okay. Take your time.
And that's why I'm here, to tell my story as a Vietnam vet, because I have something to say. Because the King of Kings saved me. Because I couldn't see my grandchildren, I couldn't see my daughters. I just saw nothing but depression.
Greater love has no man than this, than he that would lay down his life for a friend. I never really understood the meaning of that until I seen my brothers in the service who have given their life. People that walked on the ship with me one day, and then, you know, they're being buried the next. And I have seen a little bit of that. And, you know, my deepest respects to those that have paid that price and sacrifice, because I think it's a reflection of what Christ did for us in His sacrifice.
Memorial Day, to me, it's not really about me. It is not really about the current Marines or servicemen that I know. It's more about those that are not with us no more. In reality, Memorial Day, that is what it is to me. It is about those fallen comrades. It is about those people that we're not going to be able to hear about again. It's about those people that we remember their name, that we remember their faces, and every year we keep going. And it hurts. But it's a hurt that reminds you about sacrifice. It's a hurt that reminds you about love. It's a brotherhood. It's something that a human being cares about another human being to an extreme that he is willing to say, you know what, man, for you, I lay it all down, bro.
You know, I'm just thankful that I have given myself that opportunity, and you know, I am a believer, and I believe Jesus is my Lord and Savior, and I'm just grateful for that.
I knew that Jesus is who He's real. He is who He says He is. And He rose from the dead. He is the Son of the living God. He's God's Son. He is God who came in the flesh and dwelt among us. I knew it all right there. And the first person that I called, that I used to say, I don't want to hear about your Jesus. See, the change there is when you want to really tell somebody about Jesus. So I got on the phone, I called my mother, which is in Colorado, and I told her, Mom, guess what happened today? Jesus is who he says he is. I'm a born-again believer. Praise God. You know, old things have passed away. All things become new. And everything in a bed of roses, mind you, in this Christian walk. But I know that he loves me. For me, a Vietnam vet who had no hope, no nothing, just no life, no future.
So many brothers and sisters that have served are coming home. They need that support. They need a brother or a sister or somebody that can relate to them, to say, I'm here, I support you, and I've been there with you, and I'm still here with you. You're not alone. And I think as a church, as Christian believers, or just as people who support the troops, not necessarily the politics, we need to get behind our service members when they come home, and we need to let them know that they're accepted and they're loved and they're appreciated, no matter what they did in the service. All the way from the cook to the guy that was in special forces. They all played a vital role in defending freedom, defending the choices we have, and it's so important that we don't let those people become a statistic and forget about them.
Now that we are in Christ, you could call me a Marine for Christ, I guess, that we are always at war, Memorial Day for us should be something a little bit more to us, well, because we all lost our general at one time. The thing was that he resurrected. And the thing is that we already won the war. But I want to let everybody know there's hope, There's a fallen world. There's a lot of bad things that happen, but there's a lot of good things that happen. There's a lot of beautiful things that happen when people even put their life on the line. We know that. So even from death, there's beautiful things that happen because life, it just blooms from stuff like that as well. And I know a promise that we got is that one day we're going to be coming back with Christ and we're going to be invading the hell out of this earth.